All right, class, welcome back. I hope you guys are doing well. Today we are going to be looking at our one and only lecture on China, and this lecture will not be long at all. There's just too much to cover. I'll just be honest with you. There's just way too much to cover for China. We have a lot to get through in this entire course, and some we're going to go in more detail, and China is not one of them. There are a good number of dynasties in China and all the different things that go on in those dynasties. Your textbook covers a lot of that, and we're not going to cover it. There is some reading on the syllabus, and in fact, at the end of the PowerPoint today, I have the last slide with some reading. I think it's like 6 pages of reading that you should do, just so you know more about Confucius and Confucianism and the school of thought there, which your textbook does a great job just kind of explaining that out. So you can go ahead and take a look at that reading assignment there at the end of the lecture, the PowerPoint coming up. But we're just going to look today at the main river in China, because many of these civilizations start around a river. We're going to be, you're going to see the names of the dynasties, and then the reason I gave you the names of the dynasties in the PowerPoint is there's some commonalities of these different dynasties. So we're not going to look at all individual things that take place in the dynasties, but just a couple of commonalities in the dynasties. And then there's that slide in regards to Confucianism and Confucius. But we're not getting into great detail of the each dynasty or anything like that. Okay, so hang on. Here comes the PowerPoint. Okay, class, we're going to have our lecture on the history of China. It says part 1 on the screen, but we're just going to have one part. This is going to be a serious overview. We're not going to get into great depth at all on the history of China. There's just way too much to even be able to scratch the surface. If you would like to dive into a paper topic of a specific in regards to the history of China, you're welcome to do that. Just let me know what your paper topic would be in regards to the history of China. I can't emphasize enough, this is going to be a serious overview, not even a long lecture here for this PowerPoint. All right, so the early history, the region that we're talking about in regards to China is the area of the world that you think of in regards to China. If you want to kind of have a better idea of what it looks like in regards to a map of China, you can look on page 160 of China during the Qin Dynasty, 221 to 207 BC is the map 8.1 in your textbook. Shows the Great Wall of China diagram there on the map, but you can see the size of it. It's just a huge area. But we're going to be looking here for your information that you need to know. The Huanghe River, which is the Yellow River, also known as China's Sorrow. This is a very unpredictable river. It's like the Indus River. It floods and leaves silt, and it can overflow and destroy because of flooding. It's 2,920 miles long, and so this was a main river for China and its civilizations. Yu the Great is known for establishing flood control over the river. Civilization worked the fields with wooden tools before the introduction of metal, and he was the founder of the first dynasty, the Kai dynasty. I'm not sure, XIA. I'm not sure how you pronounce that. I don't speak Chinese. But this dynasty was the first one, and if you look in your textbook, there is a ton of information on China. There's no way that we would be able to cover this in the amount of time that we have. I mean, there's entire college courses just on China, or even on the dynasties of China. So there's just this is just way too much to even cover, but we'll just hit the very, very surface of it. On the screen there, you can see the dynasties of China. I have no idea how to pronounce these. I'll do the best I can. The Qi, Shang, Zhao, Qin, Han, Tang, Ming, Qing. So these are dynasties, and your textbook breaks these down into great detail. But we'll just talk about some commonalities of these dynasties, the things that they have in common. The official name of China changed with each dynasty that was in charge. The common name is Zhongguo. Zhong means middle, and Guo means country. So this translates as central nation, or traditionally as middle kingdom. So that's common, that the name changed with each dynasty. Some more commonalities. The mandate of heaven. Heaven gave special persons the power to rule, such as the Son of Heaven. He was special and had the right to rule the people. So the dynasties believed that they had a mandate from heaven to rule. And don't worry about those page numbers. They also had in common the veneration of ancestors. And veneration means kind of like the worship of. They had a strong family unit, and when the elderly died, they honored them. They believed that the dead protected the living. So they had veneration of ancestors was a commonality all throughout the dynasties. They also, throughout the dynasties, had oracle bones, which were used to tell the future. Before these bones, they used weather, animal entrails, and flight of birds before the use of bones. Again, don't worry about those page numbers. I think they're off anyway, because I'm not sure if they're for the 5th or the 6th edition of the book. So don't worry about those page numbers. So those are some commonalities. Now this you should review. In the 6th edition of the textbook, it's basically like 6 pages of some information in regards to Confucius and Taoism and the unification of China. You just go ahead and take a look at those pages and read those. Again, this is just, it's too much to even get into, really. Because of the great detail it gets into. So we're not going to spend much time on China. But you can go ahead and take a look at those pages and just give it a quick read. And okay, class, that's it for China. Just wanted to let you know that you don't even really need to worry too much in regards to the exam. I think there's like 2 or 3 questions. I just looked on the exam. There's like 2 or 3 questions on the exam that are covered right there on those PowerPoints. So it's not anything scary that we just did this real quick drive-by of China. So we're going to be focusing next time on the next lecture. I believe it's on the Persians, and we're going to look at the Persians, and then we're going to start moving into some of the other main civilizations, such as the Greeks and Romans. So other than that, that's it for now. Make sure you pay attention to the assignments on Moodle. Don't forget your checklist. I've been putting that checklist at the bottom of Moodle for you, just so you know what is due for that week, and kind of give you an idea of what we're looking for in regards to the requirement for that week. But it also gives me an idea of how you're doing on the progress of the week. It's you're not being graded on the checklist or anything. You're not being graded on any of that. It's just an idea of how you're doing. So make sure you fill out the checklist. there, and I hope that is a help for you, because that's just basically what we need to do that week. If you accomplish the checklist every week, then you're good to go. Other than that, I hope you guys have a great day. Keep reading.